Je m'appelle Kablan Dominique. Je suis producteur de cacao depuis toujours. Je suis père de 9 enfants.
Dominique, I am producer of cacao. I have 9 kids and I live near Meagui in Côte d'Ivoire. In Côte d'Ivoire today, we have lots of problems. We have the swollen shoot problem, which is an incurable disease of cacao. There's also climate change that makes today a delayed rainy season. So, starting from all of that, all these factors, we're not able to yield cacao. But since I've been in the co-op that we call ECAM, everything has changed for me. Today, thanks to the co-op, I have a coach who is trained and is training me also to learn the good practices in agriculture. Cacao is much better. My production was boosted. A lot of producers today are not able to sell the products, but I am able to sell my cocoa in the co-op, and it is working much better for me. And they pay me my fees, and when I bring my cacao, they pay me right away. The co-op provides us with material that we need, like machetes, boots, everything that we need. It brings us a lot. COVID, the pandemic, has caused a lot of problems in the prices going down, and so people are reluctant to give money to people to buy the cacao. So for a while, there was no money in the field, and nobody was buying cocoa. One of the biggest good points of the co-op is that 100% of our production has grown up, and they're able to give us money, which has the greatest benefit of the co-op. But additionally, the life conditions of the producers, of the farmers, and women have activities that generate income, like chicken raising and pig raising farms, and the small businesses as well. And also the employees agriculture. Thanks to the co-op today, I have a farm of chicken farming of African chickens, and I am able to sell them to maintain my family. My wife, also thanks to the co-op, is in the business of snail raising, which helps us a lot and helps raise our children. The co-op has trained me, and they also gave me funding to be able to carry out my activities. It supports us throughout the entirety of this project. And when we have challenges, the co-op does not hesitate. They come and help. Today, there is no more labor. All the farmers are older. They don't have the strength and energy to be able to work in plantations. So the co-op has created these groups to be able to help them and accompany them to increase their yields. Solidarity exists between the members of this co-op as well. The co-op is not focused only on sales. It is based on the value of family and solidarity, and that is really our strength. With this in mind, the family in mind, it has also created 6 schools, from preschool that allows farmers to put their children in school in time, and the school kits and uniforms distribution is also available. We were able to use hydraulic pumps to be able to have drinking water. All of that is available for producers so that they feel that it's not just about cocoa. The co-op has a human vision behind all of this. My husband was a producer of cocoa, and I used to really have struggles before. But after joining this co-op, I see that everything works so much better. The co-op help producers and women producers as well. So there's an organization with the group AVEC, which means Association of Villagers and Savings for Villagers and Credit, VSLA. After 3 months, we were able to ask for a well, this woman asked for a for financing, and after 3 months she had it. So this production of cacao was not really responding to my needs, so I needed money to be able to do something else that I was able to find today in this co-op. So today I honestly live in much better conditions. Working hand in hand and working together make us so much stronger. The proof is that this year we are the best national co-op in Côte d'Ivoire. It is this vision that the co-op had, a solidarity co-op, a social co-op, a family-oriented co-op. This is how we are able to put in place things that are very important for the producer and partners as well.
Bonjour.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. All the lovers and passionate people about cacao in the entire world, depending on where you're finding us today. I am Youssouf Ndure. I am the Director of Social Development for the World Cocoa Foundation. But I am also the director of the country of Côte d'Ivoire. So thank you to be part of this journey to fight these challenges by working together. The fact of being together is really the central theme of these sessions that we have today, that you have chosen in your agenda. And the title of our session is Resilience by a United Work. With agricultural professional organizations, you know that the small farmers are facing many challenges, and their situation is much worse when there is certain disturbances, major disturbances like the one we just went through, COVID-19, that's been over a year now, and has a huge consequences on the international market of cocoa, sorry. But we realize that by working together, the producers find strategies to be able to accommodate and adapt to these situations and to really reinforce the collective resilience and continue to try to prosper. But in order for that to happen, we need a professional organization in the agricultural arena that is strong and performing. But how do these organizations react when we have difficulties? How do they react vis-a-vis the exterior shock like the one we are going through right now? What are the key characteristics that we can see through these professional organizations that are really able to do their work correctly? And what can we do to be able to obtain a much bigger number of these organizations? These are the type of questions that we are going to explore today with our presenters and the ones that we were able to see as a first example through the video we just showed with you guys from ECAM. So behind the co-op ECAM, we have Madame Fanny, but before presenting her, I want to tell you that this journey will be guided by different presenters. There will be Madame Fanny, but there will also be other presenters that I will present to you one by one, especially in the question section. Now, to go back to Madame Fanny, I realized that there is a very interesting video that we were able to watch together earlier, and it seems to be a great example of what we are trying to accomplish and what we're going to discuss today. So let's try to see what we can see behind this type of video. What is it hiding? And for that, I'm going to give the floor to Madame Satanondia, that we know more as Madame Fanny here. And so, in fact, she has international commerce degree, and she has also 15 hectares of cacao production. Madame Fanny started her career in 1997 as a commercial director of the Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, and Coffee and Cocoa Export Corporation. She continued as a sales representative in Balmac in Abidjan. She joined ACAM in 2007. And throughout her journey, clearly starting in 2014, she received many awards. In 2014, she received the first prize of the Best Director of Coffee and Cocoa Export Corporation in Côte d'Ivoire. She also received the reward of the Best Co-op, which is in the southwest area in Côte d'Ivoire. So in a word, this is what Madame Fanny represents as far as the production of cocoa in Côte d'Ivoire arena. And she's the one who we saw behind this video. So tell us, Madame Fanny, what did it take to get to such a result? And especially, what do we need to obtain this level of confidence from the producers in their organizations and their leadership, the way we were able to feel it in this video? Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this presentation introduction. I want to say that ECAM Co-op was an experience. It was created in 2004. And when I started my position, I was able to establish a good governance. What do I mean by that? That to share the decisions, the decision making on the different programs that we have in the heart of the co-op and with the producers. And for that to happen, each 3 months we would visit the producers in the different sections, and so we were able to visit. We would do 4 visits a year, and any problem that we had at the heart of the co-op, we would explain to the producer that we are going to make decisions together, that we are going to participate in their life, the life of the co-op. And so as we were advancing, we made sure that the producer was able to be in the center of the decision making in the co-op. Additionally, we would ensure that we can also hire the children from the producer. And all these decisions that we were making really were elements that allowed these producers to feel like they had more confidence.
And and to take part in the decision making. If we have good partners behind this who care about sustainability, then we can combine both to move forward. And in our cooperative, we can be thrilled at having had excellent partners, both from a financial and technical standpoint. So not just on our business partners and in our cocoa pods, they helped us move forward. These are partners who understand the cocoa industry and allowed us to change our work ways. We now have a lot of illness here among us, and we don't have the answer to all questions. So we will go to our technical partners to ask them, international partners and national partners, to ask for their guidance in our decision making. The source of international partnerships, we work with 3 large chocolate companies. They are huge chocolate companies. We allow them to have a true partnership with us. They are part of the management of our cooperative. There are challenges that the partners have challenges and the producers have challenge. And together we try to make decisions taking into account the partners' lives and the realities that are required in the field. So the partners support us we are certified since 2017. We went through the certification process and fair trade certified. So these partners, I'm so sorry, I also forgot to mention Mondelez and Coco Life.
nous avons tous ces programmes de
We have
certification
all kinds of certification programs that allow us to develop ourselves. And the partners who are behind us help us, they pay a good price.
nous faisons de sorte que
This way,
le producteur puisse avoir une
we
grande
can
partie
we arrange things so that the producer can have
une très
take
grande
part in these
transparence dans l'acceptation
bonuses,
des primes et des prix que
and
nous recevons.
the prices that we receive, they will benefit from.
Ce sont les démarches qu'on a.
D'accord. Donc, vous
Thank you
cultivez
very
la
much.
relation
So
avec vos
you
producteurs, vous
cultivate
cultivez
the
la
relationship
relation
with
avec
your
vos
producers
partenaires,
and with your
et vous faites en sorte que les
producers,
choses soient
your
transparentes.
partners, and you make
Je pense
sure
que
everything is
c'est une richesse
transparent.
à retenir.
So
Mais
these are the
Madame
important
Fanny a
points to
mentionné quelque chose d'important. Elle a
mention.
dit
But
au-delà
Madame
des
Fanny mentioned
partenariats
something really
commerciaux,
important,
il y a
that
aussi des
her behind
partenariats
the
techniques.
they
Et
are
nous
not
allons nous
just
focaliser
commercial or
sur
business
les aspects
partners,
techniques.
corporate
Parce qu'une
partners.
fois qu'on
There
a
are
vu à quoi
partnerships. There are
ressemble le
also
type de
technical
coopérative qu'on
partnerships.
aimerait avoir, la question qui
This
nous
is one of
intéresserait,
the
c'est savoir
types of
quel est le type
cooperatives we'd like to see more
d'accompagnement
of.
technique
What are
dont
the
une
types of
coopérative a besoin
technical
pour
support
parvenir
that
à
a
ce niveau-là.
cooperative
Donc,
needs
pour
to
cela,
reach
je vais
this
me
level?
tourner
For this,
vers
I'd
un
like to
spécialiste
turn
de
toward
l'accompagnement technique.
a
Il
specialist
s'agit
in
de
technical
Monsieur
support.
Axel Kadja
I'm
de
talking about
TechnoServe,
Mr.
dont il est le
Axel
directeur
Kadja
pays
from
pour la Côte
TechnoServe
d'Ivoire. Et à
in
partir de
Côte
là,
d'Ivoire.
ils ont
And
beaucoup
from there,
d'activités de soutien
they have a lot of
aux
support. They
coopératives. Et avant
have a
même
lot
de
of support
rejoindre
activities.
TechnoServe,
And
Axel a
before
travaillé pendant de nombreuses
joining
années
TechnoServe, he
au
worked for
Cargill,
many years
où il
at
a
Cargill,
mené les activités de la
where
compagnie
he
en matière d'approvisionnement
handled
durable en
supply
focalisant
chain
sur l'accès
matters, focusing
à la
on
finance
access to
coopérative,
financing
à la
for
numérisation des
funding for
transactions. Il a été
cooperatives,
associé
on digitalization.
Coop Academy, qui est un peu
He
un
helped
programme
to
de
found
renforcement des
Co-op
capacités des
Academy,
dirigeants
which
de
is a
coopératives.
capacity
Et il a
building
aussi été impliqué dans plusieurs expériences
organization,
intéressantes
and he was
dans cette
involved in
compagnie
many
aussi
interesting
en Côte d'Ivoire
experiences in
et
this
au Ghana. Et
country and in
Axel,
Ghana.
nous sommes
Axel,
intéressés par
we are
savoir quelles
interested
sont les
to know
caractéristiques d'une
what
coopérative
are
forte,
the
bien
characteristics of
structurée
a
et
strong
performante,
and
et quel
well
est le type
structured
d'accompagnement
cooperative,
technique dont on a
and
besoin
also
pour arriver à ce résultat-là
what are
avec les
the kinds of
coopératives. Donc, qu'est-ce
technical
que la présentation que vous avez pour nous peut nous dire
capabilities
là-dessus?
that are required as well?
Merci Youssouf.
Thank you, Yusuf.
Le but de notre conversation today,
The
aujourd'hui,
point of
c'est
our conversation today
de réfléchir à
is to
qu'est-ce
reflect
qui peut
on
faire que le cacao puisse
What-
faire sourire un grand nombre de producteurs ici
how
en
can
Côte d'Ivoire, dans notre pays.
cocoa serve a
Je me suis
greater
posé la
number of
question
producers
tout
in
simplement
Ivory
parce
Coast,
que,
Côte d'Ivoire?
lorsque
I've asked myself this question.
rentrais d'Europe pour venir travailler dans le développement en Côte d'Ivoire, j'ai connu
When I began
Joachim,
to work
un
in
membre de coopérative
development in
qui,
Côte
à
d'Ivoire,
l'époque déjà, il y a 15 ans, se
I
plaignait
knew someone 15 years ago who was complaining
15 ans
about
plus
the
tard,
life
je reçois
conditions,
toujours des
MS
appels de
conditions.
Joachim pour
15 years later,
envoyer ses enfants à l'école.
he
Pourquoi,
called me
pourquoi,
to ask
cela?
how he could send his children to
Les
school.
coopératives
Why does this
en Côte
happen?
d'Ivoire, les bonnes coopératives en
The
Côte
good
d'Ivoire, si on les
cooperatives in
regarde,
Côte d'Ivoire, if you
elles
look
ont
carefully at
deux
them,
principales caractéristiques.
they have two principal characteristics.
Première caractéristique,
The
elles
first
sont
one is that
fondées, créées par un individu,
they're
ou
created
bien,
by an
comme
individual,
c'est le cas de Madame Fanny par exemple, ou
or
bien par un
like in the
groupe
case of Madame Fanny,
de producteurs.
or,
Ensuite, elles sont orientées
and secondly, they
aux
are
besoins de leurs membres.
oriented to
Mais,
satisfy the needs of their
elles
members,
sont face à des
membership.
challenges.
And they face the
Elles n'ont pas
challenges,
d'accès à du capital. Elles sont dépendantes
help those who have no access to capital.
Ce sont des price takers. Elles n'ont pas le choix que de vendre à un prix qui est déterminé.
There are
Et
some
plus
people who
important,
have
c'est que, elles n'ont pas de talent
do
pour les
not have
aider
the,
à conduire l'organisation de la façon la plus durable
some
possible.
people have no
Ce qui fait que, bien
the
évidemment,
necessary talent to the skills.
réflexion stratégique pour décider
So
d'investir pour
there
leur
hadn't been any
développement.
strategic thinking to decide for members
Souci
There wasn't any cost leadership. And this is very important. They didn't have a collective entrepreneurial spirit, which could have helped them to diversify. All of this happened in an environment which we all know, where the price of cocoa has been pretty stable for many, many years. So, despite this fact, the price of cocoa has stayed flat, basically. Today, we would like to talk about a successful experience that we noticed in a Colombian coffee producer. This is a union of more than 500,000 producers in Colombia that is set up to meet the needs of its membership. They used to have the same challenges and problems that we in Côte d'Ivoire have faced. But in the fields, they had productivity problems. They had weak farm business management. And so they founded their own research institute, Marie Marchand, to better resist the price volatility. So this union of cooperatives has a fund, a foundation to make sure that whether the prices are high or prices are low, it allows this union of cooperatives so this foundation was able to, the federation was able to support the small coffee producers. And the name of the brand is Juan Valdez. This could also happen in Ivory Coast. We could do something like this. That's what we thought. So we noticed that the creation of a university in a social corporate responsibility, we thought we could, as a point of departure, at the beginning, we could set up a university to help maximize the total value chain. Various companies, the government. It's also possible to develop this activity alongside, which will strengthen and create better consequences for everyone. If we consider that the surplus of the total value chain surpluses, the profit generated by the end user could better be distributed throughout the value chain. So this cooperative, this organization could help us generate a surplus that would benefit everyone along the value chain and help us achieve transparency. But it could also transform. It would be a 360-degree benefit for cocoa in this whole region of Western Africa. Over to you, Yusuf. Thank you very much, Axel. When we look at this, what do you think is the key factor of differentiation between these two scenarios that you compared? The Latin American Coffee Cooperative, Juan Valdez, and the West Africa organizations. What's really the difference between both of them to go from one to the other through a 360-degree revolution? To me, the difference is the talent, is the people. There was one person who went to business school.
les premiers producteurs de
The
cacao ont envoyé leurs
greatest
enfants travailler pour le gouvernement. Leurs
um,
petits-fils ont travaillé pour le
the
gouvernement et
coffee
déjà le
producers in
secteur
our
privé.
country
Leurs
sent their children to
arrière-petits-fils ont
work for
travaillé
the
pour le
government.
gouvernement, pour le secteur privé
So the
et pour le
grandchildren
secteur
went to work
non-profit.
for the
Euh,
government,
je pense
nonprofit
qu'on peut
sector.
arriver
I
à
think
quelque
we
chose
might be able
de
to
complètement transformatif, de radicalement transformatif,
arrive at
si on
something
essaie d'imaginer
radically
que les
transformative if
arrière-petits-fils
we
des producteurs actuels se mettent à
take the
repartir,
great-great-grandchildren
créent des
of the
producteurs,
original
travaillent dans la
producers,
coopérative.
if they could
Et
work
cet
with
afflux de
their
talents
the adults in their community,
va nécessairement transformer
so
radicalement le
that
secteur.
will necessarily
Les
radically
mesures
transform
indicatives
the
que le
sector.
gouvernement,
There are
l'État va mettre en
indicative
place en matière
measures
fiscale
that
pour permettre aux coopératives d'investir
tax
dans les talents. Mais
tax
nécessairement, on doit
benefits,
arriver
but we
à
need
avoir
to be able
un
to
stade où les élites,
arrive
les
at the
meilleures élites
point
du
where
pays, formées dans les meilleures écoles
the
du pays, sont fiers
best
de
educated
travailler
people
dans le
in our
secteur
country
agricole et
are
coopératif du
proud
pays.
to work in the cocoa
D'accord.
sector in our country.
Merci
This would
beaucoup, Axel.
require a major transformation.
Maintenant,
Thank you so
essayons
much, Axel.
de voir tout cela après
Now we're going to
l'œil du
look at all
partenaire
of
technique.
this
Il y a
from
aussi l'œil du partenaire
there's also
commercial. Parce que Madame Fanny a mentionné les deux types de partenariats.
the business partner.
L'un ne va pas sans l'autre. Donc, c'est
They
important
don't,
de
they
regarder
go
aussi
together.
ce que
You
pense
cannot,
le partenaire
one
commercial.
cannot
Et
happen
je vais
without the
m'adresser
other.
maintenant à
So
un
now I
membre
would
de
like
l'ECF,
to
c'est l'entreprise C'est Moi. Et C'est Moi est représenté
address,
ici dans notre
present to you
panel
one of the
par Grâce Ingrid
Cocoa
Cassi.
Foundation
Grâce
companies,
Ingrid
C'est Moi.
Sustainability Program
So
Officer. Donc, elle est en charge
Grace
du programme de durabilité.
Ingrid Cassi
Et dans
is
le
a
cadre du programme Transparence
program
Cacao
officer at C'est Moi.
elle travaille dans cette entreprise
She has
depuis
been
son
working
arrivée
in
pour
this
les
company,
Partnership for Forest. C'est un
and she
projet pour la
worked in
professionnalisation
the
des
Forest
producteurs de
Initiative.
cacao et de leurs
She's one of
coopératives.
the
Et ce
biggest
projet est
coffee
focalisé
producers,
sur
and
la composante environnementale de leur programme
she's worked on
Transparence,
the environmental
y compris
transparency aspect of transparency, agroforestry, and she's also responsible for a project that's called the Planter's House. It's for fermenting centers that are put into place in certain regions in the country.
où ils s'approvisionnent en cacao. Donc, il y a des formations agronomiques
There are
sur les pratiques post-récolte et puis de la sensibilisation et de nombreuses activités de développement communautaire. Et donc, grâce, comme le dit un peu écho à ce que disait Axel tout à l'heure,
I'm really just adding to what Axel said earlier, who has a degree in the agriculture and nutrition fields. So thank you, Ingrid. On your side, as a commercial partner, do you consider as a key characteristic for a co-op, and how do you manage to bring them to a level that is ideal so that this commercial partnership can work? Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all participants. The interpreter is having sound issues. So the subject brought up here is resilience. And we are using an example with our partnership with the agricultural area. So thanks to this collective work, we are able to see the results. The first problem is, what are the characteristics for a co-op can be strong and structured? We recognized 4. The first one has to do with the quality of the beans, and the second one would be a good traceability. The co-op has to make sure to manage their supply chain. They know the parcels, they know the producer, and they know where it's being produced. The third characteristic is a good organization. At this point, we're talking about governance. Each member of the co-op has a role that is very well defined in the co-op. And also, it's very transparent. We have transparency in the accounting and finance responsibility. So also the fourth characteristic is the RC, the co-op that is sensible to its environment to fight against the child labor. The next problem is what are the technical aids that a co-op has to have as an industrial co-op to be structured and strong. So way before even given a specific support to the co-op, we realized that there must be a diagnosis of each co-op, and they are in 5 categories. The first one is the blacklist. And so that is when the co-op does not really respond to the criteria needed to be able to work with it. And then those that are at the startup, who only know their producers. And so when the co-ops go beyond that, they're able to have more accountability and everything is clear. And then there are the co-op that need more support to have access to services and development. After the diagnosis, we determine how to personalize what we will do for each co-op. And so they all are aligned according to the characteristics that we talked about. So we have the quality, where we have a follow-up on the quality of the producers. We give them trainings. And then under traceability, we have put in place a management system for a transparent traceability in the co-ops, and we have also trained the agents on how to use these tools. So it is about training and coaching to the personnel and directors of the co-op. As far as the environmental issues, we have also provided trainings on the subject, deforestation and the fight against child labor. The third problem is what are the characteristics for a good partnership between the co-op? So the first one is the potential of the co-op that we have to recognize. When we talk about that, we are talking about the 5 points is the capacity to collect cocoa in the co-op. The members are able to share their tasks by using good governance. And of course, this aids the co-op to be better. So as far as the provider's reference, we have to give their legal documents that help with the codification, and they're able to register their business because they need to be certified. There's also specific documents to CIMWA. So we have to have an audit report for certified and also the RSE audit report that was done by CIMWA and produced afterwards. After having all these documents and going through all the tools, the co-op is then able to sign a document that we call signed engagement protocol. So, in sum, as far as the problematic of the work, it is important to remember that a good co-op is defined by a managing body, and to be able to produce quality cocoa that can be traceable, and to have this experience based on this experience that we had with co-ops, we developed many tools that aid and help these co-ops to be stronger and sustainable. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ingrid. That was a very informative presentation. When I see all of this, I ask myself and I say, wow, this asks This takes a lot of work to be able to have these partner co-op so that the partnership can be fluid and beneficial both ways. So with the effort that this represents, this type of improvement to having a qualitative or quantitative co-op, because you as a commercial partner, you can have that. You have objectives to have more volume, supply chains that you have to attain. So how do you do with the co-ops that do not progress as fast? Because I'm thinking that between quotation marks, you cannot really put in your portfolio a co-op that is not really that is not really having a good result. Thank you. First of all, you have to know that the passage is done in 4 years. This process takes 4 years. Then, after investing time, energy, and money in this co-op, we cannot just leave them alone. So we are patient with the co-ops. And those who do not progress fast, we take the time to meet with them, to discuss with them what are the reasons why they're not advancing, and also help them find solutions to remedy this so that they continue thriving. So we really use a lot of patience with these co-ops. I just want to say that. Great, thank you. It's very important to be patient because we cannot have sustainable results without also sustainable investments, right? This is not something that happens overnight. So, dear participants, as you already know, the branch of cocoa in Ghana on the commercial development aspects and those that are linked to the co-ops is something heavily regulated. So to be able to talk about this aspect, I am going to give the floor to an expert in this field that is from the Council of Coffee and Cacao in Côte d'Ivoire. We're talking about Mr. May Kwaku, who is the coordinator in the Takeover Bid Management Professional Agricultural Organization. And if we see what we need as a technical help and commercial help, so what is interesting to us right now to see is what is the type of environment in the regulation arena that we need so that a bigger number of this type of co-op that we were able to see can be created, exist, and prosper. From the regulation part, how can we help them? How can we evaluate them and monitor them so that they have a favorable environment to have this type of co-op? This is really what we were trying to understand and discover through Mr. May's presentation with the 19 years he has of experience in the coffee, cacao Bureau. Thank you so much for being with us. The floor is yours. Ay, 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 ay. I'm so sorry. Just a minute. I am looking. What? Where is my document? There. Where is my document? Ay, 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 ay. So sorry. I am going to. What am I using? Oh my goodness. How can I get to this document? You could just explain it to us, following the structure they have, and we'll just listen to you. We'll give you all the attention you deserve. So just go ahead.
On va faire comme si c'était une conférence.
Voilà. Let's just pretend like it's a conference. Please just go ahead and speak. Okay, I don't know if you can see. Do you see the presentation? No. But really, just present, please. I am so sorry. Okay. How about now? There we go. Yes, we can see. You can go ahead. We can see it. Thank you. Anyway, good morning. Good morning, everyone, and thank you. Thank you, Monsieur Doré, the moderator. And I would like to talk about the council, in the name of the Council of Coffee, Cacao, to thank you about the opportunity that you are giving us to be able to share the vision that we have about the the problem that we have with the coordination between the producer and organization. As you already know, since 2011, with the new reform, the Council of Coffee and Cocoa, and with the structure of the branch. So as far as this problem goes with other co-ops, based on the experiences that we had in the past, so the Coffee Cacao Council has partnered with the private sector and created a series of projects and programs to find the correct strategy as far as the interventions go within these co-ops and transform these co-op companies. So the subject of these exchanges is the resilience of the collective work of the OBAs, and this invites us to place ourselves on the type of organizations, about the necessary regulations to be able to the branch, and the type of co-op, the model that Madame Fani is directing. And so these interventions, the interpreter lost sound. I think that we lost sound. Oh, there I am. Can I continue? Yes, of course, of course. Please go ahead. I think that there was an internet interruption. Oh, in this case, I do not see my presentation anymore.
C'est bon, ma présentation?
Can you see it now?
Oui, c'est bon.
Yes, it's visible. Yes, yes, yes. We have so 2 lessons that were learned in the program project with the Council of Coffee and Coffee in partnership with the private sector. As I said, finding the best or the most pertinent strategy to do this, we found that to be able to have this diagnosis of this co-op system was major. That would allow an evaluation of the potential of each co-op and the level of development. Then the second lesson that we learned is the ability to adapt the new trainings in the co-op, which has led the board of Coffee Cacao to institute a
dès que l'évaluation des sociétés coopératives sont faites et une
this helped the cooperative on 3 levels, where we actually looked at the 3 levels of weak, medium, strong in terms of the needs, interventions that are totally identified. So we used training sessions, and we were supported by a technical assistant who helped us gain the knowledge that we needed. Then the Cocoa Board made sure that we could carry out a promotion of these cooperatives, these model cooperatives, through their participation in the National Day of Cocoa and Chocolate. This was a period to magnify the exposure of the producers.
les producteurs et les sociétés coopératives leaders
and the
ils sont invités pour venir partager aussi leurs expériences.
also different experts
Voilà
came
un
to
peu
share their
le
experience.
modèle
So
d'accompagnement que
that's
le
sort of the
Conseil
type of
CAO
support model that we
réalise à travers le
used
programme de professionnalisation des sociétés coopératives de la filière.
in
Tout à l'heure
for us.
aussi,
So
il me paraît important de
we'll
pouvoir
also be
parler
able to
des éléments
speak
caractéristiques d'une
about
société coopérative
the
professionnelle.
characteristics of a professional
Que ce soit
cooperative,
l'État, que ce soit les partenaires
whether it's
techniques,
technical partners or
que
the
ce soit aussi
state,
les partenaires financiers,
financial
qu'on parle tous un peu
partners.
du même langage en
We're
termes
all
de
speaking the same language in terms of characteristics of the cooperatives that need support. So good governance is definitely an aspect that is fundamental, as well as social performance, entrepreneurial performance, and competitive performance. These are undeniable requirements. And also the question of quality, what is the quality of service that we give? Also, how can we improve their conditions of daily life? These are all aspects that we look at when we want to set up make sure a cooperative is professional. What organization, what regulatory organization is necessary to have and to allow the greatest number of this type of cooperative to exist? So I wanted to invite the participants to observe a little bit the situation of cooperative organizations in the sector from 2014 to 2021. So from a commercialization standpoint, and so if you look at this table, you'll see the blue lines represent the evolution in the number of cocoa cooperatives. So we had 2,500 in 2014, but now we have more than 3,900 cooperatives. So each year seem to add about 400 cooperative. But as we also, the orange and gray and yellow lines, there are a number of these cooperatives who are part of collecting, and it's a much smaller number. So we'd like to understand this, and we did a diagnostic study and a categorization study and in a pilot phase in Gagnoa. On 22 cooperatives, 240 cooperatives, nearly half, 50%, were totally inactive cooperatives. And they were essentially identified as inactive. But at the end of each campaign, they were, even though a cooperative is defined as being an association of producers, unfortunately, we noticed that more than half are not capable of this kind of activity. But 62% of the diagnosed cooperatives, they are collecting about 80% of the volume of cocoa in the region. That is to say 23.83% in terms of performance. And it's a pretty good performance then. So the Cocoa Board identified several actions that we needed to remediate the situation. There are 5 important actions. We need to remediate the cooperative environment by reducing the number. We had 3,900 different cooperative organizations down to 200 cooperatives that are strong. We need to reduce the number, so make sure, but all of them. So we take place through
c'est
mergers.
renforcer les capacités
The third
techniques et
action,
de gestion des
we
sociétés
need
coopératives
to
afin d'offrir des services
reinforce
pertinents
the
et
technical
adaptés aux
capacities
besoins
of
des membres,
the
y
competence of
compris
this and
la création
management of
d'alternatives
these
pour la création, comme nous l'avons dit,
cooperative
de paiements.
organizations in order to
Et
offer
si
relevant
nous
services and
avons
to adapt them to the
cette
needs of the
expérience-là dans
membership,
le cadre de
including
créer les
using
conditions même du financement des sociétés coopératives.
including
Quatrième
using
action nécessaire, c'est
digital
apporter des appuis en matériel et
and
logistique pour renforcer les capacités de
mechanisms.
résilience des producteurs et des cafés cacao
The fourth
à
action is
travers
we
des
need to
unités de
bring
services
material
opérationnels.
support, material
Cinquième et
logistic
dernière
support to
action
strengthen
qui me paraît
capacity
assez
of
importante,
resilience of these
c'est faire en
producers
sorte
of
qu'il
cafe cacao.
existe une
And
inspection générale des OPA
the
en
fifth
charge
one,
de
we need to
contrôler
have
la
a general
gouvernance
inspection to
financière
make
des sociétés
sure that
coopératives
we
et
can
proposer des
that
sanctions
the
d'État
management,
exemplaires.
financial management of these
En
companies or these
conclusion,
cooperatives are
En
we
conclusion,
need to create an
pour
inspector
arriver à
general.
des
So, in
entreprises
conclusion,
coopératives
to
compétitives,
arrive
fortes et
at
professionnelles dans
competitive,
la filière café
strong
cacao, cela nécessite
cooperative
une application
enterprises,
forte,
we would need
ferme et
a
accrue des
strong
autorités de régulation
and
avec la
firm
participation de
application of
l'ensemble
regulation
des
of
acteurs
the
de la
regulatory
filière café cacao.
authorities. We would need
Voici
to
un peu
have
ce que je voulais partager
involvement
avec
by
vous. Merci pour
these
votre
regulatory
attention.
authorities and
Je suis
all
prêt
parties involved, and we
à
need
des questions
competitive
éventuelles. Merci.
cooperative organizations. Thank you so much.
Merci
Thank you
beaucoup,
very, very
Monsieur
much,
May, pour une
Mr.
présentation
May,
très
for
instructive.
your very instructive presentation.
Vous aurez rectifié de vous-même aussi.
You
Monsieur May a dit,
will have
nous voulons
noticed yourself that we want to
d'ici 2025
move from
de
today
3900
to
à 200
we want to move
coopératives
from
et non de
3,900
3925
to
Ah non,
coopératives.
d'accord. Ah,
Voilà.
25,000 instead of 25. So we want to go from 3,900 to 25,000 in
C'est
2025.
très
So just a
intéressant et
little
ça
correction.
préfigure un peu
So this prefigures a little bit
peut
our
être le milieu coopératif de
what
demain,
the
celui qu'on
tomorrow's
souhaite dans la
cooperative
filière café cacao.
environment
Alors
could look like.
concrètement, pour la
So,
région de Gagnoa,
concretely speaking, in this region in Gagnoa, where you did these diagnostics as a pilot project,
quelles sont les dispositions qui ont
what
été prises
different measures were taken for these inactive or underperforming cooperatives? Because
on va pouvoir
what we saw in the pilot program, we're probably going to need to implement later. Are you going to let them keep working, or are there instruments to address this problem, this type of inactive cooperative, especially for this campaign that's starting? That's what's interesting to us. Thank you, Monsieur Njore. It's true that following these diagnostic study that we took took place in Gagnoa, it is true that we have a very high percentage of inactive cooperatives. The best decision would be to no longer grant them the registration codes. But what we did, we implemented two major actions. We explained to them the substance of what we learned from these diagnostic exercises. So we shared that with them. That was the first thing the COCO board did. Secondly, the board explained the need to remediate the environment of cooperatives. So we invited all the inactive cooperatives to merge, to create mergers, to create a more higher performing entities. And then later, it's interesting to note, it would be interesting to be able to diagnose the totality of co-ops to see that we should. It would be great if we could reduce the number, if we could merge, so that we don't have to codify every single small co-op that exists. This would be operationally better. Thank you so much, Monsieur May. We'll certainly come back this during the question and answer session with our participants. Et
take a step further in the East in our journey through the cocoa cooperative and landscape and go to Ghana, where we will hear from Dr. Nita Kyoto. He's the executive director from the Cocoa Health and Extension Division of the Cocoa Board, better known as SHED. And his areas of expertise includes non-traditional agricultural production, rural development and agricultural planning, cocoa agronomy and disease control, land and water management, and more. He currently holds many offices, including as chairman, such as with the Cocoa Research Extension Technical Committee, or the CRETEC, or as member, such as with the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana, the CRIG, in the management board. Dr. Emmanuel Nita Kyoto holds a PhD in agricultural extension and a Master of Philosophy in agricultural extension from the University of Cape Coast, Ghana. So Dr. Nitaki, similar to what I asked to Mr. May, how does the Cocoa Board SHED go about having more strong, well-structured and well-performing farmer organizations? You can, Dr. Emmanuel, you can go. Okay. Go ahead, please. You are live, you can go. You are being seen. Maybe he's not hearing us.
Yes.
Okay, you can go. Okay, it's okay now.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Dr. Emmanuel. Go ahead, please. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. I'm speaking on the topic, the role of Cocoa Board in building resilience of cocoa farmers' cooperatives. By way of background, Cocoa Board's extension wing was ceded to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. So in the year 2010, the extension unit was reintroduced. By this time, we used to call it Cocoa Extension Public-Private Partnership. The motive behind it was that we should use lean, cost-effective extension. So there was the need to group farmers into 30, and we give them good agronomical practice training. That was the way the extension unit was couched. And then with time, these were facilitated by our extension agents to form cooperatives. By September 2021, a total of 12,528 cooperatives were formed, with membership of 855,618, out of which 35% are females. We don't form the cooperatives in isolation. We work in partnership with the Department of Cooperatives, but they run the training for the leadership of the cooperatives, so that at least they will know the goals and the principles of the cooperatives. The objectives, Cocoa Board's objectives in facilitating cooperative formation. The first objective is to facilitate common grounds for the engagement of major stakeholders in the cocoa value chain. The second one is to build the capacity of cooperatives in the cocoa sector. You know, you should get some skill to be able to run the cooperative societies. So we train the leadership with the help of the Department of Cooperatives of Ghana, so that at least they'll develop the skills to be able to manage, because people are coming from different backgrounds. So if you don't have somebody who has the technique or the skill to train them, before you could say Jack, a lot of them will leave the scene. Then the third objective is to help streamline the activities of stakeholders in the cocoa sector. Virtually, we run training for all of the farmers across the number of cooperatives that we have. And also finally, is to serve as effective and major medium of information delivery to cocoa farmers. It is much easier to pass on information through the leadership to the individual farmers within the cooperative system. So when we come to the levels of cooperatives that we have in Ghana, we have the groups within the communities. And then we have society at the district level. And then at the regional level, we have the unions. So we group the leadership of the individual cooperatives, depending on their number, into a union. That is what we do. Cocoa Board support system to build resilience of cooperatives. With the assistance of GIZ, we were trained, we have master facilitators who usually go around and train farmers on the farmer business schools. This is to help farmers see farming as a business, but no more as a way of life. And then also we render training, the same assistance from GIZ, to train farmers from the cooperative business school for the executives of the cooperatives, so that they will know the skills of handling different shades of people within the cooperatives. We also train farmers on cocoa certification. We realize that certified cocoa has much higher price as compared to the normal cocoa that we sell. So that if a cooperative is certified, definitely their level of income will increase. And then we supply inputs such as agrochemicals, prunes, forceps for hand pollination through the cooperatives. Last year, for instance, 2020-2021, we trained 100,000 farmers on pollination and gave them forceps so that on their own, they'll be able to pollinate their farms to increase yield. It is much easier. The suspicion that people will be selling chemicals is no more a case now, because we give the inputs directly to the farmers. If you're a farmer and you go and sell your chemical, definitely your colleagues who are with you in the cooperative will not allow that. So this is a way of checking them. We also link them up to certification organizations, like I said, such as Fair Trade, Rainforest Alliance, and Organic. That is what we do. And then a lot more farmer cooperatives are being trained to link up to this certification bodies.
Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Don't worry.
Are you done, Dr. Emmanuel?
Ghana is about 2 minutes. Hello?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm saying that because of the rehabilitation program, we have subletted the cutting of the trees to private people, of which some of the cooperatives who have the wherewithal are doing the cutting in order to raise additional funding for the organization. And then finally, we train the cooperatives on additional livelihood, grass cutter, snail railing, gari processing, maize, and then chili pepper. That's the additional activities that we give to the farmers. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel. I have one single question for you. As you know, we know that Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire are working together in the cocoa sector through the Côte d'Ivoire-Ghana Cocoa Initiative. So is the matter of having better farmer organizations also covered by this example of regional cooperation? And what do you think it could bring to the quest of resilience for farmers then?
You come again, it was not too clear.
I just wanted to know if the matter of having better farmer organizations is also part of the agenda of the regional cooperation between Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana.
Yeah, definitely. We are learning from each other. For example, when it comes to rehabilitation, because Côte d'Ivoire shares boundary with Ghana, we are treating what we call back. Côte d'Ivoire is cutting the disease trees from their boundary to the initiative with each other experiences.
Yeah, having internet issue. Okay. David? Okay. Thank you. How many time left, please, David? 10 minutes. So I have another one starting right after. So je vais juste aller pour une dernière question parmi toutes celles qui ont été posées.
I am just going to go ahead and go to the last question by the participants, and maybe this one I'm going to direct to Engam. You talked about partnership from different types to be with you, but are there any partnerships that allowed you to access to insurance services like health insurance for your co-op? And if so, what are they? And where do you see these type of things in the frame of
l'assurance de leur sécurité sociale.
Of the insurance and of the farmers' social security and health insurance? Thank you, Mr. J. Absolutely, in the frame of our partnership, we have commercial partners who have been with us and proposed to us. This was really the idea, to have an intermediary that they proposed a partner to insure health insurance and also insurance for their plantations. Unfortunately, these insurances that were proposed were not really adapted to reality of the field. The insurances that we had are the classical insurances, so they're not really adapted to the agricultural service. So us, for instance, as producers, we don't have hospitals that are near the plantations. So these insurances and the hospitals we chose are the ones that are in the city, and so their prices were not really good for us. So we did life insurance, and a producer that was not able to respond, their insurance didn't really interest us. Health insurance can be interested if the system is adapted to our reality, which is not the case. Okay, thank you so much. I think that this really opens the conversation on access of this cacao agricultures, to have access to this service of healthcare, and go to the health centers that are the closest to them. This is a reflection that started that needs to be tested. So great. This is the end of this session. We have a myriad of questions that were asked, which shows all the interest that everyone has in this discussion. And seeing as time does not really allow us to go on, I can tell you this. We are definitely going to collect every single question and we are going to answer them. And we will share them with you later on in the partnership, at the end of the partnership meeting. So everyone's question will be answered. With that, I really want to be able to thank all participants, the patience that they showed with all the technical difficulties we've had since the beginning of this session and even throughout. And I would like to also thank all the team that we don't see there in the background who has allowed for this session to happen, the interpreters, the technical team, the moderator, the discussion, everyone that allowed for us to have a fluid session where everyone is understanding each other with ease. And I'd like to finish by saying, by giving a huge thank you to all our speakers, because from the beginning of their confirmation till day, it has been intense preparation work, so we can actually give you this experience that is rich and expertise. We need leaders who are well trained and informed. We also need technical help and support to be able to manage a co-op. And we need a regulatory environment that incites people to promote the best and discourage those who do not perform well, and encourage everyone to get united and become stronger entities. And that is something that really can be the goal of this cooperation between two countries that have a much bigger weight on the cacao field. I hope that you have learned a lot from this session. We learned a lot from your questions. We have learned a lot from our speakers, and we are going to be able to continue these discussions in all the fields during the partnership. And so thank you so much for your attention, and let us stay in touch throughout all the links that the platform has allowed. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful night, and see you soon in the next session.